Across the world, grand hotels and resorts once sparkled with life, laughter, and luxury, but now they stand silent, their halls echoing only with memories. From tropical paradises swallowed by nature to futuristic cities abandoned before they could welcome a single guest, these places hold secrets of dreams shattered and fortunes lost. Each ruin tells a story of ambition, tragedy, and time's relentless march. Step inside this journey across continents, where beauty and decay walk hand in hand, and discover the haunting remains of the world's most fascinating abandoned resorts. The past is calling, will you answer? If you love exploring forgotten places and uncovering their hidden stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button, so you never miss another journey into the world's most haunting secrets. 1. The Cocoa Palms Resort, Kauai, Hawaii, USA. The Cocoa Palms Resort in Kauai, Hawaii, was once one of the most famous and glamorous resorts in the Pacific. It opened in 1953 and quickly became a favorite spot for Hollywood stars, musicians, and wealthy travelers from around the world. The resort was built on a site with deep cultural significance to the Hawaiian people. It was located in the Wailua area, which was once home to Hawaiian royalty and sacred to the island's history. The design of the resort combined luxury with Polynesian style, featuring thatched roofs, lush tropical gardens, and a large lagoon where guests could take boat rides. Cocoa Palms became internationally known after it was featured in the 1961 Elvis Presley movie Blue Hawaii. In the film, Elvis sang and performed a wedding scene on the resort's beautiful lagoon, which made it even more popular with visitors. The hotel offered high-end dining, live Hawaiian music, hula shows, and luau's that celebrated traditional culture. Guests could also enjoy private bungalows, palm-lined walkways, and stunning views of the mountains and ocean. It was not just a hotel. It was a Hawaiian dream brought to life. For decades, the resort thrived and became a symbol of old Hawaii's charm. Celebrities, politicians, and honeymooners came from all over the world. However, in 1992, disaster struck. Hurricane Iniki, the most powerful storm to ever hit Hawaii, caused massive destruction on the island of Kauai. Cocoa Palms was badly damaged, with roofs ripped apart, rooms flooded, and much of the property destroyed. After the hurricane, the resort was closed, and it has never reopened since. Over the years, there were many plans to rebuild Cocoa Palms, but each attempt failed due to high costs, ownership disputes, and legal complications. While some parts of the property remained untouched, others fell into decay. The once beautiful bungalows are now covered in weeds, the lagoon is overgrown, and the buildings are crumbling. Graffiti and broken windows give the place a haunting look. Despite its ruined state, Cocoa Palms is still a famous landmark in Kauai. Many visitors stop to see it from the outside, and tours are sometimes offered to explore the grounds and hear stories about its history. Locals have mixed feelings about restoring it. Some want it rebuilt to bring jobs and tourism, while others believe the land should be returned to its cultural and historical roots instead of becoming another luxury resort. The story of Cocoa Palms is one of beauty, fame, and tragedy. It went from being the heart of Hawaiian hospitality to a silent, abandoned reminder of nature's power. Standing there today, you can still imagine Elvis singing by the lagoon or couples walking hand in hand under the palm trees. But now, the laughter is gone, and the sound of the wind through the broken buildings is all that remains. Cocoa Palms is more than just an abandoned resort, it is a piece of Hawaiian history frozen in time, holding memories that will never be forgotten. 2 Burj Al Babas, Madernu, Turkey. The Burj Al Babas in Madernu, Turkey, is unlike any other abandoned project in the world. It is not just one building, but an entire village of nearly identical luxury villas designed to look like small castles. The project began in 2014 with big dreams. A Turkish construction company planned to build more than 700 villas, each with towers, balconies, and pointed roofs that looked like something from a European fairy tale. These villas were meant to attract wealthy buyers from the Middle East and other countries, offering them a peaceful and luxurious retreat in the green hills of northwestern Turkey. Each home was designed with modern interiors, large windows, and beautiful views of the surrounding mountains. For a while, everything seemed to be going well. Construction teams worked on dozens of villas at the same time, and the skeleton of the village began to take shape. Promotional materials showed happy families and promised an exclusive lifestyle. The project quickly became famous for its unique architecture, rows of white, castle-like houses standing side by side. However, behind the scenes, trouble was already growing. The Turkish economy began to face problems, and the value of the country's currency dropped sharply. At the same time, many of the foreign investors who had planned to buy the villas pulled out of their deals. Without enough money coming in, the construction company started to struggle. In 2018, the company declared bankruptcy, leaving hundreds of unfinished villas standing empty. Some of them were nearly complete on the outside but still missing windows, doors, and interiors. Others were only half built, with exposed concrete and steel. When work stopped, the Burj Al Babas transformed from a dream village into an eerie ghost town. Walking through the site today feels strange. Rows of identical castles stretch out in every direction, but there are no people, no cars, and no signs of life. The silence makes the place feel even more unreal. Nature has started to reclaim the area, grass and weeds grow between the empty houses, and the weather has begun to wear down some of the structures. The story of Burj Al Babas attracted international attention. Photographers and journalists visited to capture the surreal sight of hundreds of empty castles in the middle of the Turkish countryside. Some described it as beautiful but unsettling, while others saw it as a symbol of failed dreams and the risks of ambitious real estate projects. The local community had mixed feelings about it. While some hoped it would one day bring jobs and tourists, others felt it had become an eyesore and a reminder of wasted resources. In recent years, there have been talks about reviving the project, but nothing significant has happened. The economic challenges and the huge costs of finishing the villas make it difficult to restart construction. Still, the site remains popular among urban explorers and curious travelers who come to see the ghost castles of Turkey. Today, Burj Al Babas stands frozen in time, a reminder that even the most beautiful and ambitious projects can fail. What was meant to be a luxurious paradise now feels like a set from a fantasy movie that was never finished. The hundreds of silent castles tell a story of hope, ambition, and sudden collapse, making it one of the most unique and haunting abandoned luxury developments in the world. 3 Kupari Resort Complex, Dubrovnik, Croatia. The Kupari Resort Complex in Dubrovnik, Croatia, was once a beautiful seaside paradise for the rich and powerful. It was built during the time when Croatia was part of Yugoslavia, and it became famous in the 1960s and 1970s as a luxury vacation spot for military officers, government officials, and their families. Located along the stunning Adriatic coast, the resort included several hotels, beaches, and recreational facilities. The main hotel, called Hotel Grand, stood proudly by the water, offering breathtaking views of the sea. It had elegant interiors, large balconies, and wide glass windows to let in the sunlight. Guests could swim in crystal-clear waters, relax on private beaches, or enjoy fine dining in the resort's restaurants. For decades, Kupari was a symbol of leisure and prestige. Ordinary citizens could not easily stay there. It was mainly reserved for the elite of Yugoslavia. The area was well kept, full of palm trees, gardens, and peaceful walking paths. Visitors remember it as a place of joy, with music in the evenings, children playing on the sand, and a warm Mediterranean atmosphere. However, everything changed in the early 1990s when war broke out in the region. During the Croatian War of Independence in 1991, Kupari became a target. The Yugoslav People's Army took control of the area, and intense fighting damaged the buildings badly. Many parts of the resort were bombed or burned. Furniture was stolen, windows were shattered, and the once beautiful interiors were destroyed. When the war ended, the complex was abandoned, and no one returned to bring it back to life. In the years that followed, Kupari slowly turned into a ghost resort. The grand hotels still stand, but they are in ruins. The walls are covered with graffiti, the roofs are collapsing, and plants grow through broken floors. The sound of the sea is still there, but it now echoes through empty hallways instead of bustling restaurants. Despite its decayed state, Kupari still attracts people, but now they are urban explorers, photographers, and curious tourists who come to see the haunting remains. Some efforts have been made to sell or redevelop the area, but they have faced many delays. Investors have been interested because of the location's natural beauty and its closeness to Dubrovnik, which is one of Croatia's most popular tourist destinations. However, the high cost of rebuilding and complicated ownership issues have kept the project on hold. Local residents have mixed feelings. They would like to see the area revived, but many also believe the ruins are part of the country's history and a reminder of the war. Today, the Kupari resort complex is both beautiful and sad. The sea still sparkles in the sunlight, and the beaches are still stunning, but the buildings tell a different story, a story of luxury, conflict, and abandonment. It stands as a reminder that even the most glamorous places can be lost to the events of history. Visitors who walk through the empty halls can almost imagine the laughter and music that once filled the air, making Kupari one of the most haunting abandoned luxury destinations in the world. For Ryugyong Hotel, Pyongyang, North Korea. The Ryugyong Hotel in Pyongyang, North Korea, is one of the most mysterious and controversial buildings in the world. It stands tall at 105 floors, making it one of the tallest hotels ever built, but it has never officially opened to the public. Construction began in 1987 during a period when North Korea wanted to show the world its power and modern image. The idea was to create a hotel so grand that it would attract international visitors, showcase luxury, and boost the country's tourism industry. The building was designed to look like a giant pyramid with sleek glass sides, and when finished, it was supposed to have multiple restaurants, thousands of rooms, and even revolving restaurants at the top offering a full 360-degree view of the city. However, the dream quickly turned into a nightmare. In the early 1990s, North Korea's economy suffered a major collapse due to the fall of the Soviet Union, which had been the country's biggest trading partner and supporter. With no money to continue the project, construction came to a halt in 1992, leaving the massive structure incomplete. For years, the hotel stood as an empty, hollow shell without windows or interior work. Locals began calling it the Hotel of Doom, because it looked abandoned and eerie, towering over Pyongyang like a silent reminder of failure. For over a decade, the Ryugyong Hotel remained untouched. International media often mentioned it as one of the ugliest buildings in the world due to its unfinished and decaying state. Some visitors and journalists who saw it from a distance described it as both impressive and unsettling. Its size was breathtaking, but its emptiness gave it a ghostly feeling. In the mid-2000s, North Korea decided to revive the project. They brought in an Egyptian construction company to help complete the outer structure. By 2011, the exterior was finally covered with shiny glass panels, making it look new and modern from the outside. Despite the fresh exterior, the inside of the building still remains largely unfinished. Official state media occasionally releases images or videos showing parts of the interior, but there is no clear evidence that the hotel is fully functional. Some reports claim that only a few floors have been completed, while others suggest that the building is still empty inside. The reasons for this are not fully known. Some believe it is due to the high costs of finishing such a massive structure, while others think it might be because North Korea does not have enough tourism to justify opening it. The Ryugyong Hotel has become more than just a building, it is a symbol. For the North Korean government, it represents ambition and the desire to impress the world. For critics, it is a reminder of the country's isolation, economic struggles, and the gap between its dreams and its reality. Over time, it has appeared in many documentaries, news reports, and even urban exploration videos, although access to the building is heavily restricted. Today, the Ryugyong still stands as one of the tallest and used buildings on the planet. It dominates the Pyongyang skyline, gleaming in the sun but hiding its unfinished truth. Tourists who visit North Korea can see it from various points in the city, but they are not allowed to go inside. Whether it will ever open to the public remains uncertain, but the mystery surrounding it continues to capture the curiosity of people worldwide. The story of the Ryugyong Hotel is a mix of hope, pride, failure, and mystery, making it one of the most fascinating abandoned luxury projects in modern history. 5. Haljadovo Palace Hotel, KRK Island, Croatia. The Haljadovo Palace Hotel on KRK Island in Croatia was once one of the most luxurious hotels in Europe. It opened in 1972 and was built during a time when Yugoslavia was trying to attract foreign tourists and show a glamorous side to the world. The hotel was funded by Bob Guccione, the founder of Penthouse magazine, who invested millions of dollars into making it a place of extreme luxury. It had marble floors, crystal chandeliers, large swimming pools, and fancy restaurants. The hotel was designed to look modern and stylish, with big open spaces, sea views, and a private beach. In its early years, the Haljadovo Palace Hotel attracted wealthy visitors from all over the world, including celebrities, politicians, and business people. Guests could enjoy fine dining, spa treatments, and even a casino, which was considered very exciting at the time. The casino was meant to be a big money maker, attracting rich gamblers from Western Europe and beyond. Staff from different countries were hired to provide high-quality service, and the hotel became a symbol of luxury living on the Adriatic coast. However, this glamorous lifestyle did not last for long. The casino did not make as much money as expected, and the hotel faced financial problems. By the late 1970s, much of the original funding had been lost, and the management changed several times. Even though the hotel remained open for a while, it slowly began to lose its shine. Some areas were not maintained properly, and the building started to show signs of wear. The biggest blow came in the early 1990s when the Yugoslav wars broke out. Tourism in Croatia collapsed, and the Haljadovo Palace Hotel was forced to close. During the war, the hotel was used as a shelter for refugees fleeing the fighting. This period caused further damage to the property, as it was not being maintained as a hotel. Furniture was moved or taken, and the once beautiful interiors began to deteriorate. After the war, there were some attempts to reopen or restore the hotel, but none were successful. Investors were scared away by the high cost of repairs, and the building remained abandoned. Over the years, it became a target for vandals, looters, and graffiti artists. Windows were broken, walls were damaged, and the once luxurious pools were left empty and cracked. Today, the Haljadovo Palace Hotel stands as a huge, empty shell of what it once was. The grand entrance is overgrown with plants, and the marble floors are covered in dirt and debris. The sea still sparkles nearby, but the hotel itself feels like a ghost of the past. People who visit say it is both beautiful and sad, a reminder of a time when the island hoped to be an international playground for the rich and famous. Despite its condition, the Haljadovo Palace Hotel has gained attention from photographers, urban explorers, and history lovers. They come to see the mix of decay and former luxury, to imagine the parties and glamour that once filled its halls. Some still hope that one day it might be restored, but for now, it remains one of the most famous abandoned places in Croatia, holding stories of both wealth and ruin. 6. Sanjipod City, New Taipei, Taiwan. Sanjipod City in New Taipei, Taiwan, was an unusual and futuristic-looking housing project that has now become one of the most famous abandoned places in the world. Construction began in 1978, and the idea was to create a seaside vacation spot for wealthy visitors, especially for American military officers stationed in Asia and for rich locals. The buildings were designed as round, colorful pods stacked in unusual shapes, looking like something from a science fiction movie. Each pod had large windows to give a clear view of the ocean and was meant to provide a modern, stylish place to relax. The project was seen as bold and exciting for its time. The pod-style architecture was rare in Taiwan, and the developers wanted Sanjipod City to become a symbol of the future. The location, near the coast, made it perfect for people wanting to escape busy city life. There were plans to include swimming pools, shops, and entertainment areas so visitors would have everything they needed in one place. However, almost from the start, problems began to appear. The construction costs were very high, and financial troubles slowed progress. At the same time, there were several accidents on the site, some of them fatal. Local people began to believe the place was cursed, especially after stories spread that the land might have been used for a burial ground or military purposes in the past. The strange design of the pods, along with the tragedies during construction, added to the feeling that something was not right. By the early 1980s, the developers could no longer continue the work, and the project was stopped completely. The half-finished pods were left standing, empty and unused. Over time, the building started to deteriorate. Paint peeled off, glass broke, and plants began to grow inside the structures. Because of their unusual shapes and the fact that no one lived there, the pods attracted a lot of curiosity from the public. Sanji Pod City quickly became a place of urban legends. Some people claimed they heard strange noises there at night, while others said they saw ghostly figures. The combination of its abandoned look, the accidents during construction, and the unusual architecture made it seem like a haunted location. Urban explorers and photographers came to capture its eerie beauty, and pictures of the pods began to spread across the internet. For many years, there were debates about whether the city should be restored or demolished. Some people wanted to preserve it as a unique piece of architecture, while others argued it was unsafe and had too many bad memories. In 2010, the government decided to tear it down, and by the end of that year, the pods were gone. Even though it no longer exists, Sanji Pod City still has a strong place in popular culture. It appears in articles, videos, and social media posts about abandoned places. Many people remember it as a symbol of dreams that never came true, a project full of ambition that was stopped by bad luck, accidents, and money problems. Today, the site where it stood has been redeveloped, but the memory of the colorful, futuristic pods remains a fascinating part of Taiwan's history. 7 Hotel Belvedere du Rayon Vert, Cerbère, France. The Hotel Belvedere du Rayon Vert in Cerbère, France, was once a luxurious and modern building that attracted visitors from around the world. It was built in the 1930s, during a time when train travel was becoming very popular in Europe. The location was chosen carefully, as the hotel stood right near the French-Spanish border, close to the railway line. This made it an ideal stop for travelers moving between the two countries. Its name, which means Green Ray Belvedere, was inspired by a natural light phenomenon that could sometimes be seen at sunset over the sea. The hotel was designed in the Art Deco style, which was fashionable at the time. Its architecture was unique, with curved lines, large terraces, and a beautiful view of the Mediterranean Sea. Inside, it had spacious rooms, elegant furniture, and modern facilities that were rare for that era. The hotel even had a rooftop terrace, a cinema for guests, and large dining areas where people could enjoy meals while looking at the ocean. In its early years, the Hotel Belvedere du Rayon Vert was considered a glamorous destination. Wealthy travelers, artists, and even celebrities stayed there. The warm climate, beautiful location, and high-quality service made it a popular choice for holidays. It was also a place where people could relax before or after a long train journey, as the nearby station connected France to Spain. However, the success of the hotel did not last forever. In the late 1930s, the Spanish Civil War created instability in the region. Many travelers avoided the border area, and the number of guests began to drop. Soon after, World War II brought even more difficulties. Tourism almost stopped completely, and the hotel struggled to survive. Although it continued to operate for some time after the war, it never fully recovered its former glory. By the 1980s, the hotel had closed its doors. Without regular maintenance, the once beautiful building began to decay. Paint peeled off the walls, windows broke, and nature slowly started to take over. Vandals and curious visitors explored the empty rooms, leaving behind graffiti and further damage. Still, the Art Deco structure remained impressive, and its unique design continued to attract photographers, historians, and urban explorers. Over time, the hotel developed a mysterious and nostalgic reputation. Locals and visitors often spoke about its history, imagining the glamorous days when it was full of life. The contrast between its past beauty and its present abandonment made it a symbol of lost grandeur. Some people suggested turning it into a museum or cultural center, but the cost of restoration was too high. Today, the Hotel Belvedere du Rayon Vert still stands as a reminder of a different era. Its walls may be worn and its rooms empty, but its story continues to fascinate those who learn about it. From its hopeful beginnings in the golden age of train travel to its slow decline and eventual abandonment, the hotel is a piece of history that tells of changing times, economic challenges, and the fragile nature of luxury. It remains one of the most interesting abandoned buildings in France, loved by those who appreciate both architecture and the stories hidden in old places. 8 Aqua Marina Resort, Euboea, Greece. The Aqua Marina Resort on the island of Euboea in Greece was once a place full of life, joy, and summer holidays. It was built to attract tourists from Greece and other countries, offering them a perfect seaside escape. The location was ideal, right by the water, with views of the Aegean Sea and easy access to sandy beaches. The resort had many facilities, including swimming pools, restaurants, bars, and comfortable rooms for guests. Families, couples, and groups of friends would come here to relax under the warm Greek sun and enjoy the peaceful surroundings. In its early years, the Aqua Marina Resort was popular, especially during the summer season. The crystal-clear waters, friendly staff, and lively atmosphere made it a favorite spot for holidays. Guests could spend their days swimming, sunbathing, or exploring the nearby towns and villages of Euboea, which is the second-largest island in Greece. The resort also hosted events, such as weddings, parties, and music nights, creating happy memories for many visitors. However, over time, things began to change. The global financial crisis in the late 2000s affected tourism in Greece. Fewer people could afford holidays, and competition from other resorts and travel destinations grew stronger. Maintenance of the resort became more expensive, and fewer bookings meant less income. Slowly, the once busy resort started to have empty rooms and fewer events. Eventually, the Aqua Marina Resort closed its doors. Without regular care, the buildings began to fall into disrepair. Paint faded and peeled away, furniture was left behind, and nature started to reclaim the space. Weeds grew through the paths, and the pools were left empty or filled with dirty rainwater. The sound of laughter and music was replaced by the quiet rustle of the wind and the waves. Today, the resort stands abandoned, a silent reminder of its past. The rooms still hold traces of the lives once lived there, old chairs, curtains, and even some decorations. The location is still beautiful, but the emptiness gives it a haunting feeling. Urban explorers and photographers sometimes visit to capture its strange beauty, with the sea in the background and the ruins of holiday memories in front. For locals, the Aqua Marina Resort is both a sad and nostalgic sight. It reminds them of the days when the area was busy with tourists, and the economy was stronger. There have been talks about restoring or reopening the resort, but the cost would be high, and investors are hesitant. For now, it remains a shell of what it once was, standing quietly by the shore. The story of the Aqua Marina Resort is a reflection of how quickly things can change in the tourism industry. One day a place can be full of life, and the next, it can be empty and forgotten. It also shows how economic challenges and competition can affect even the most beautiful locations. While the buildings may crumble, the memories of those who stayed there during its golden days will always remain. The resort is a reminder of both the joy of summer holidays and the passing nature of time. 9 Nevele Grande Hotel, Ellenville, New York, USA. The Nevele Grande Hotel in Ellenville, New York, was once one of the most famous resorts in the Catskill Mountains. It opened in the early 1900s and quickly became a popular vacation spot for families, especially from New York City. The hotel was known for its beautiful location, surrounded by mountains, forests, and fresh air. People came here to relax, escape the busy city, and enjoy nature. The Nevele Grande offered everything guests needed for a perfect holiday: comfortable rooms, great food, and many activities. During its best years, the hotel was always full, especially in summer and on holidays. It had golf courses, tennis courts, swimming pools, ice skating rinks, and even horse riding. There were also indoor entertainment options, such as theaters, dance halls, and game rooms. The hotel became famous for its excellent service and warm atmosphere. Many families returned year after year, making it a tradition to spend their vacations there. The Nevele Grande was also known for its unique architecture. The main building had a distinctive circular tower, which gave the hotel a modern and stylish look for its time. The name Nevele itself was special. It is 11 spelled backward, named after 11 schoolgirls who had discovered a waterfall near the area many years before. That waterfall later became one of the attractions for guests to visit during their stay. However, over time, the hotel began to face challenges. In the 1980s and 1990s, travel habits changed. Families started going to other destinations, including cruises, overseas trips, and newer resorts. The rise of cheaper air travel made faraway vacations more attractive. The Catskills, once called the Borscht Belt for its popularity among Jewish families, began to lose tourists. The Nevele Grande tried to modernize by adding new facilities and updating rooms, but the cost was high, and competition was strong. The 2008 financial crisis made things worse, as fewer people could afford long stays. Eventually, the hotel closed in 2009. After it shut down, the property was left abandoned. Furniture, decorations, and signs of its glamorous past were left inside, slowly being damaged by time and weather. Today, the Nevele Grande stands empty, with broken windows, overgrown grass, and peeling paint. It has become a place for urban explorers, photographers, and people curious about its history. The once busy golf courses are now silent fields, and the grand dining rooms are dusty and dark. There have been many discussions about restoring the hotel, with plans to turn it into a luxury resort, casino, or conference center, but none of these plans have been completed so far. For many people, the Nevele Grande is a symbol of a golden era in the Catskills, when the area was alive with music, laughter, and vacationers. It reminds older generations of simpler times, when summer meant spending weeks in the mountains with family and friends. Although the building is now falling apart, the memories created there remain strong. The story of the Nevele Grande is both a celebration of its glorious past and a sad reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. 10 Montana Resort, Arkansas, USA. Montana Resort in Arkansas, USA, was once a grand and ambitious project that became both a symbol of dreams and a story of failure. It was founded in the early 1900s by a man named William Coyne Harvey, who was a lawyer, author, and political figure. Harvey wanted to create a luxury resort that would attract visitors from all over the country. He chose a beautiful valley in the Ozark Mountains, surrounded by forests, hills, and fresh streams. His vision was to build not only a resort but also a cultural and educational center. The resort began with several large hotels, including the famous Missouri Row and Oklahoma Row. Oklahoma Row was especially impressive. It was one of the largest log buildings in the world at the time. The resort also had a large man-made lagoon, where guests could swim, fish, and enjoy boat rides. Harvey built facilities for outdoor activities such as hiking, horseback riding, and camping. Montana became known as a peaceful retreat where people could enjoy nature and luxury together. One of Harvey's biggest dreams for Montana was to host large public gatherings and educational programs. He built an open-air amphitheater, which he called the Oklahoma Row Arena, where speeches, concerts, and community events took place. Harvey was deeply interested in history and politics, and he hoped Montana would become a place for learning and discussion. However, despite his big ideas, the resort struggled financially. The location was beautiful but difficult to reach in those days, as roads and transportation were limited. Harvey invested much of his own money into the project, but it was not enough. In the 1920s, he shifted his focus from the resort to another dream, a time capsule project called the Pyramid. He wanted to build a massive stone structure to store records and knowledge for future generations to discover thousands of years later. The pyramid was never completed because Harvey ran out of funds. By the 1930s, Monty was in decline. The Great Depression hit the country hard, and fewer people could afford vacations. Many of the resort's buildings fell into disrepair, and some were abandoned. Harvey passed away in 1936, and with his death, the dream of Monty faded. Over the following decades, parts of the resort were dismantled or destroyed. A major change came in the 1960s when the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers built Beaver Lake, a large reservoir, in the area. Much of Monty was flooded under the lake's waters. Today, during times of low water levels, visitors can still see parts of the old structures, including the foundations of Oklahoma Row and the amphitheater. These ruins have become a fascinating attraction for history lovers and urban explorers. Monty is now remembered as a mix of ambition, beauty, and loss. It tells the story of one man's determination to create something lasting and meaningful, even though it ultimately failed. The remains of the resort serve as a quiet reminder of the past, standing partly underwater and partly forgotten, yet still holding a special place in Arkansas history. The legend of Monty continues to attract curious visitors who wonder what it must have been like in its days of glory.